And I'm supposed to look at that camera right there. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Otaku Bros Live, the manga and anime spin-off from your favorite Omnibros Live stream here on YouTube. My name is Giovanni Menendez, and welcome, everybody, old and new. I am happy that you could be here. We're going to talk about all the favorite releases, our favorite releases of 2019, because we only do 2 shows a month. So yeah, our next broadcast, which would be the last one of the year, is going to be about the January 2020 solicits. So yeah, technically this is the last discussion piece of the year 2019, and it's been a fabulous, interesting year. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am so happy that you could spend some quality time with yours truly talking about manga, mango, whatever you want to call them. They're fun books, and every chance I get to talk about some cool graphic editions, I am more than happy to do so. Thank you to everybody live in the chat for tuning in. That is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm flying solo momentarily, but I will be joined shortly by some peeps. Yeah, I'm going to be joined by them shortly. Before we get on to the actual list of what we considered our favorite reads, because not everybody, especially yours truly, I didn't really keep up with what was coming out brand spanking new when it came to manga. So it's just our favorite books that we read in the year 2019, just talking about that stuff. But some of those books, you can probably get them if you visit our sponsor website, instocktrades.com, where you can get all your favorite collected editions and manga up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. And if you order $50 or more in your collected editions order, you get free shipping. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Free shipping, fantastic customer service, and wonderful packaging that you can only get when you visit instocktrades.com. With that said, welcome everybody in the chat once again. And I do want to remind everybody before I continue, if you can, please follow us on social media. I do believe we have a Facebook group, a Facebook page. I think there's a Facebook page, but we rarely update it. But if you want to follow us there, you can do so. You can also follow us on Instagram. Gabe handles that stuff. Just search for Omnibroslive, and we're there. Also, you can follow our Twitter, Omnibros_live or something like that. And I'm usually posting there, and I do this because I rarely go. I should be going there more often, but follow us, I should say, on Twitter. And I am joined by my lovely co-host, the Battle Angel, Ryley. Welcome, Ryley.
I know I was going to put Rylito, and that's what my grandparents called me anyway. But it just didn't sound as good as Rylita.
No, Rylita's epic. I love it. What's up,
so
my dude?
Grab some stuff from my office up here.
Yeah, nice.
And then head back down because I'm waiting for my wife. She was cooking my favorite meal, chicken and dumplings.
Nice.
And as soon as it's served, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to take this chip and I will eat it.
Bonus points to the chat if they get that reference. Favorite reads. Was that easy for you, coming up with a favorite reads of 2019? Because you read a lot of stuff.
So the early part of 2019, I read so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just going through so many books. Like I think the first few months, I probably read over 100 books per month.
Damn.
And that's not counting my single issues. And then after moving, I fell off. And I had a few months right after moving where I would read like a whole series all at once. But it didn't really happen again for a while. So now I'm like kind of falling behind, and I'm trying to catch up on stuff. And now I have like a stack of new releases that I'm still slacking on. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself, but I'm going to try and get a little bit better. I'm going to catch up with all my new releases and then start reading some of these older things and all that. It's just I've found that the problem is I get caught up in other hobbies. Like I'll get caught up in trying to get like to watch a show or something, or to play a game. And so, for instance, recently I was playing through Luigi's Mansion, and that took me way longer than it should have. And I finally finished it. And then I was like, shit, well, I have like 4 weeks worth of weekly like new release of Western comics, and then I have like a month and a half worth of manga.
Yeah.
So I was like, shoot, I need to get all those kind of read sooner than later.
Plus,
but,
since early fall, we've been kind of hooked on getting games and stuff. So I feel you. I get that.
Yeah, let me I can show you real quick, like my game like that's my Switch shelf now.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
I think it was like here a few months ago. And then my anime shelves, even
more precious.
So yeah, I recorded actually an unboxing of my Black Friday Right Stuff stuff. I just have to load it to YouTube.
Nice.
So let me grab my headset, wherever that is hiding. It's hiding under my Guy Fawkes mask, because I was remembering the 5th of November. And then I'll head back downstairs as I patiently await.
What up, Matt? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, you want me to start doing the thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I have a terrible track record, keeping up with comic books that are coming out and games and manga. I just do that stuff at my own pace. And I got into some books. Technically did not come out in 2019, but, I bought them and really started to read them in 2019. And my first pick is a bit of a downer, but it's kind of awesome and renowned. And that was Goodnight Punpun. I read the whole series this year, and it was a revelation. I didn't know that manga could be like this, because I was so used to late 90s, early 2000s manga and the action adventure stuff and the Shonen Jump nonsense and whatnot. And this is just a slap in the face full of emotions in book form. Punpun, he's not technically like that, but you see him like this bird-looking Casper little dude. And it's this realistic, sort of depressing slice of life drama of him growing up and experiencing love and hate and tragedy and joy and all different types of emotions. And somebody's calling me live in the air. All sorts of emotions experienced in this book. It's only 7 volumes, I think, and it's a roller coaster. I think a lot of people, if post PTSD or suicidal stuff and material like that affects you, then you might not want to read this. Thankfully, it didn't, but it did open my eyes to to see what's out there in the current era of manga writing. And it sort of felt like I was reading like an indie title. You know, it's a little bit more raw and more real, and the stuff that they experience. I do wholeheartedly recommend it if you want to check something out like Goodnight Punpun. So yeah, that's my first pick of my favorite reads of 2019.
I think that one I read last year, but it was definitely a big highlight. And I remember, like, honestly, we need to get an episode going with all of us on that series.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I remember honestly my like reaction to it being like, it made me feel really bad in the best way. Like,
yeah,
it's so overpowering in its emotion that like, and what happens in there, it just made me feel like kind of dirty, like the way that the series goes. And I was like, my heart hurt coming towards the end of it. But it was such like an engrossing ride, and it was something that I was so happy to have experienced, even if it like made me feel kind of negative by the end, because it's the how visceral the feeling was that it made me have was just a testament to how well it was written.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely recommend that one wholeheartedly as well.
Yeah. Got to be careful with what I show. I don't want to get banned because there's some not safe for work stuff in these books. But yeah, it's a very raw, real story. There's nothing to, I mean, there's an element in there that's a little bit fantastical with the cult and all that stuff. But other than that, it's a real drama, you know, drawn with kooky characters, I guess. Let's see. I also have here, actually, this is one of my favorite reads overall of 2019. This is Satoshi Mizukami's Spirit Circle. I genuinely love this so much. This is my first time reading his material, and I'm already a fan. I loved it so much. Story about reincarnation. It is a little bit more bombastic and grandiose in scale compared to something like Punpun, but it is fantastic. These two characters right there, you know, they are locked in a cycle of reincarnation of past lives, and they hate. There's a deep hatred between the two characters, and as you read along, you find out why, and you look at all these past lives and all that stuff, and it's riveting. It goes into some like Jonathan Hickman level sci-fi stuff later on, but at its core is the story about four people, two of which I cannot mention without spoiling it, and how they've lived their lives through ages and different eras and all that stuff, and what binds us together as the species, as, you know, human relations, all that fun stuff. So if you want to check something fantastic, you know, with gorgeous artwork, I don't know if the camera can do it justice, my webcam here, but it's really cool stuff. I really loved Spirit Circle. I did a video on my channel if anybody wants to check it out. So it was only 6 volumes, self-contained, really fun ride.
I haven't read that one at all. Is that one is the same person who did Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I never read that one either. I just remember that one gaining some attention because it went out of print, and a lot of people were kind of trying to hustle to get the volumes.
Oh man, I really want it, but it's out of print. The first Omni with the 2 volumes, 2-in-1s, it's like $100 and something on eBay. I can't justify getting that, so it sucks. I might go ahead and pick it up digitally, but I really want to check out his stuff because I love his art style. You think it's simple, but as you keep reading, there's so much expression in the way the characters look at each other. It's really fascinating. I love that artwork. Also, we do have a message for the two of us.
What up?
From
what's up, Gabe?
Sup, my man?
Gabe should be in here.
He's working, right?
It'd be really cool because he started reading this stuff in 2019.
Gabe, are you working? Can I send you an invite? Yeah, my next read is, we did an episode of Otaku Bros. I don't need to go at length. It's Demon Slayer. I watched the anime, fell in love with it, and went ahead and picked up every single manga. I think it was by Labor Day or something like that, around that time. I just said, screw it, I'll pick up everything in one swoop, and I have been in love with this series. I love the manga just as much as I love the anime. It's fantastic. Demon Slayer fun. I cannot recommend it enough.
Nice.
This I've been blabbering about. It's Dr. Stone, another wholesome series that I really love. I love that it's basically a different type of post-apocalyptic story. You know, it's something like you would read a zombie tale, but without the zombies. People surviving in extreme situations and finding the best of themselves within that extreme situation, and how do they move forward and rebuild society with wholesome, fun characters, and you'll take an interest in survival and science and all that stuff. So I do recommend Dr. Stone as well.
Yeah, both of those are great shonen titles.
I haven't been so enamored by a Shonen Jump title in quite some time. I have been reading One Piece, but I didn't bring any of those books here with me. But Dr. Stone and Demon Slayer, I've just been hooked on. And my final pick, of course, I had to go with Beastars. I cannot get enough of this. It turns out 2019 was a revelation. Apparently, I love anthropomorphic animals. I did not know that about myself. With comics and movies, anime, and now manga. And it's awesome. I love the idea of humans being represented in animal form, I guess, with the way these characters behave. The anime really got me on board to check out the manga, and I've been loving it. And I hate that we're only on volume 3. We should be catching up, but it's a slow release, I guess, for Viz.
I almost picked that one, but I know that I had done my own review on it recently. Mm-hmm. So let me go ahead and just choose something else that I haven't. I want to choose something that I haven't specifically talked about on this show or on my channel in depth. Now, the ones that I picked, though, I do want to do episodes on a couple of these, and I do want to review these myself, but I haven't done it just yet. So I picked 4 different series, different kinds of series.
Yeah.
The top one, this is one that I read it for its entirety the first time this year. I'd read pieces of it before, but not all of it. And I was very, very familiar with it prior to reading it. But I never read it, and that was Yu-Gi-Oh! Nice. And I talk about the series a lot and make a lot of jokes towards it and stuff. But when I read it, I really did get really into it and get really enamored with the series. Because it's something that, like I said, everyone knows about it. Everyone knows Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe not necessarily having read it. You might have collected some of the cards back in the day. You might have watched the anime when it was on Saturday mornings and stuff. And that's kind of why I decided, you know what, I want to be more familiar with it. I know it's a classic Shonen Jump title. I'm going to go ahead and check it out, read the whole thing, experience it for the entire series. And man, did I love it. I had so much fun. It was a little bit of a slow start before it gets to the actual Duel Monsters card game. But once it gets to that, once it gets past the opening arcs, it gets to be so fun because there's so much interesting writing in the strategies that these characters use in facing off against each other in Duel Monsters, which is the card game. And that's a lot of what's fun about it, is just watching these characters and how do they get out of these situations? How do they defeat their opponent when all odds seem to be against them? And you have, some characters like, Kaiba, for instance, who buys his way into having the best deck ever. And you have some characters like Yugi who has the heart of the cards on his side, so he's always getting the lucky draws. But then you have, when they're going up against during the Battle City arc, for instance, going up against people who are literally cheating with the rare card hunters, or you have people like Joey Wheeler, whom I will die on the hill that Joey is the greatest duelist in this series, who literally built himself from the ground up. He didn't get the hand-me-downs from his grandfather. He doesn't have an ancient pharaoh spirit within him that knows how to duel for some reason. And he doesn't have the money to buy whatever he wants. He learns how to duel, and he has some of the most interesting and fun duels in the entire series. And it's just something that like is so gripping. And I never thought that I'd say that. I thought that I would read it and be like, this is so ridiculous. And it was like, whenever I'd step out of myself, I'd be like, what? Like, what am I reading? But it was so fun and engrossing and just pulse pounding at times. And there were, throughout the Duelist City or Battle City story arc in particular, there were so many duels in there that I was just on the edge of my seat. So I was really, 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 I definitely underestimated how much I was going to enjoy it. And I really, really did enjoy it to the point that I've been, still think about it and want to do an episode of this show specifically so that we can all talk Yu-Gi-Oh! I just need y'all to read a little bit or watch a little bit, or at the very least we can talk Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or something, because even that in its own right is a fantastic piece of entertainment. So that's my first pick for 2019. And that one I read after I had moved from Austin out here. So that was kind of after my 100 books a month marathon in the first few months of the year, and then kind of into when I was only reading about 40 books a month or something like that. The second one I picked, I might have talked about this one before, but this is just a really great, really concise series that I think is a fantastic introduction to one of probably the best mangaka of all time, and that was Pluto.
Nice.
Pluto is just such a well-written, concise book. It's an 8-volume series by Naoki Urasawa. It's based on a Astro Boy story, The Greatest Robot on Earth by Osamu Tezuka. And basically, it's just a robot murder mystery story. We follow our main character, who is a robot investigator, as he's trying to figure out who is and why they are killing off the world's greatest robots. And it's something that was just so, intense. It's so, the story is so intense and well written and well told that you cannot help but to constantly want to pick up the next volume. Once, when I finished volume 1, man, I need volume 2 right now. And I zoomed through it in a few days because it was so engrossing. If you're a fan of I want to give it a comparison to detective series like True Detective and stuff like that. If you're a fan of a series like that, this is 100% the type of series that you would like to read. And like I said, it's only 8 volumes. It's not very long. I don't think it's out of print. So it's pretty easy to find for under cover price. Cover price being $13 per volume. And it is oversized. It's the signature sized volumes. So this is in comparison to a volume of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is just a normal size volume. Very highly recommended. And then, of course, if you read that, you've never read any Urasawa, then that would lead you towards other series of his, like 21st Century Boys, which is currently getting perfect editions published, and Monster, which I still haven't read, so I need to get on that one. Moving on, my next one, and this is one I've been wanting to do a review of for a while, but I never got onto it. And this is such a crazy series. I know a lot of people jumped on it this year because it was ending, and now we have an anime coming out soon, and that's Dorohedoro.
There you go. Nice.
Dorohedoro it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain because a lot of this is about the questions that are raised at the beginning of the series. Essentially, you're introduced at the beginning to this guy, Cayman, who is this kind of amnesiac, very large guy with a lizard head. And the question at hand is, who is he? Because he doesn't know, like I said, he's amnesiac. He doesn't know who he is, what his past was. And number two, who turned him into this? Why does he have this lizard head? He knows that someone did this to him, but he doesn't know how, he doesn't know why, and he doesn't know who. So the series follows Kamen as and his friend as he is searching for those answers. And the way he does that is kind of the most bizarre thing ever. He captures the people, and this is literally like the first pages, and he shoves their head in his mouth, and then inside of his mouth there is a smaller head that pops up and basically tells that person, I'll show, this is like the second or third page, you aren't the one. So he does this to different people, basically magic users, who are in this place called the Hole, which the Hole is basically, so in this kind of I don't know if you'd say like post-apocalyptic world, or if that's the right way to describe it, but it's really just this disgustingly dirty version of Earth, this hole that all the humans are tossed into. So he's down there, and the wizards will come from their realm, like the magic realm basically, and they'll come down and visit the hole sometimes. And so when they do come, he'll grab them, shove them inside his mouth. You're not the one. He lets them go, or he kills them, or whatever he decides to do. He continues the search. Meanwhile, all the magic users are up in their realm. It's a lot nicer. They have nice, things, homes. Everything seems to be a lot cleaner. The people have a better life, essentially. So it's a very big class difference between those who use magic and those who can't. And the series just kind of follows him as he's trying to find those questions. But as it goes forward, you're introduced to a lot more of the world, a lot more of these characters. You're introduced to the concepts here of, why these people have these powers, how they got these powers, what the magic users are, and then there's demons and stuff like that. And there's this whole like hierarchy and class system. And it just expands into this really huge thing, but the whole time it never loses its sense of humor, which is a really great thing. The characters they're weird and wacky and funny and just fun to follow. And so all the while when you're stuck in this dirty, disgusting hole of a world, you still are sitting there laughing along with these characters and this guy with a lizard head who's obsessed with gyoza and stuff like that. It's such a good series. It's very fun. It's 23 volumes long. It's all in print, $12.99 per volume. They're also that signature size that Pluto is. Very, very well worth it. I highly recommend it. I know it's a little bit longer. I definitely want to say pick up the manga because the anime doesn't have the best animation, it seems, from the trailer. It has that 3D animation that the Berserk anime had. So I'm a little hesitant on that. So if it does come out and the anime is a little underwhelming, please do not judge it from that alone. I implore anyone who enjoys stuff like, God, I had a few things that I wanted to describe it as similar to back in the day, a few months ago when I first read it. But if you're into that kind of dirtier, grittier type of series, something that's violent and fun and just all out, just doesn't hold back in being what it wants to be, then I definitely recommend picking it up. Pick up the first few volumes to get a taste of it, but I have a feeling a lot of people will definitely enjoy it. And then this last one, I read early in the year, and it really blew me away. This is a series I definitely knew about before reading it, but I never picked it up, and I'm so happy that I finally did. And I have to thank Kodansha for releasing these really nice hardcovers of it, because that's what really pushed me towards grabbing it finally, and that's Battle Angel Alita.
Nice.
My name, Ryley, tonight came from that. So Battle Angel Alita is a classic manga series about this robotic girl on the cover, Alita, and kind of follows her in this futuristic, technologically advanced world. Similar in the way that I was describing Dorohedoro, this world is kind of separated in a class system where we have the people who have more money kind of live above Earth in this community, and then the people who are less fortunate live down on Earth, and that's where all the slums are, and the people who have to kind of fight for their meals and stuff are living. And this series follows Alita as she kind of develops as her own character. It follows her and her relationships with various other characters that are in this world, and just her various struggles. Now, the movie that came out, Alita Battle Angel, they flipped the name there just a little bit, covers basically the entirety, I think, of this volume, this first hardcover volume. And this volume is a really good primer. It introduces the characters. It introduces some cool concepts. It might go a little further than this volume. I don't remember exactly what all is in there. It might go into volume 2 a little bit. But it really gives you a taste of what this world is and what the struggles are and what these people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And it's just so brilliantly done. It's so deeply constructed. The world building is fantastic. The characters are really just moving in the way that they interact with each other and how their stories unfold. And I really couldn't get enough of it. And this is one of those series that I think I read all 5 of these hardcovers, so about 10 volumes worth of material within a few days, because I was just churning through it so quickly because it's such a fun series. It really is a classic. And I want to do an episode. I know that we were talking with Omar a while ago because he's a big Alita fan. I'd love to do an Alita episode because this series definitely deserves the attention of its own show, kind of like we just did recently with JoJo. So those are my picks. That's not everything that I read, of course, this year, but it is a few of the highlights. Like I mentioned, I want to do some reviews on some other things that I read this year, just to give some ideas. And then I decided not to talk about any of the JoJo titles. I was going to talk about Steel Ball Run, but we just did like a 2-hour episode on JoJo a couple weeks ago, so I go ahead and give a break on that. So yeah, those are my 4 picks for some of the top things that I read this year.
Solid list, man. I want to check out Dorohedoro, but I want to read the series, but I also want to watch it. But now that you reminded me of the CG anime, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to see that. So I'll probably read the manga.
Yeah, I'm seeing something like that. I know that there's a lot of people. This is why I was kind of disappointed. I know that there's a lot of people who will experience first via the anime, and I don't want it to give them a false impression of the quality of the series based on the rough animation. And it stinks because it was something that I was really interested in seeing animated because, if I'm honest, sometimes the art is a little grungy and hard to make out what's going on in some scenes, which I think is purposeful. And the anime could have really cleared that up. Similar to, I know some people complain about the My Hero Academia fights towards the beginning of the series being hard to follow. This could have kind of cleared up exactly what's going on in some of the harder to follow scenes. But then the animation is really clunky looking, and it disappoints me. And I just hope it's not as bad, or it doesn't turn out as bad as it looks like it will.
Yeah, it has that style where it could go, like it's laggy. Like a character might move, and you sort of see that animation. It's not as fluid. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Berserk because that's a whole monster unto itself. But I don't know. I mean, I doubted the Beastars anime, but I love the series and how it looks in both formats. So hopefully it works.
I hope so too. So what? We got a little time because that only took us about half an hour to go through. What are you looking forward to in 2020 as far as releases go?
I want to
or older books that you're planning on reading.
Yeah, I want to check out the Ito stuff that's coming out. It came out this week, the No Longer Human stuff, the adaptation. But I also want to check out. I think he has another book coming out next year that I don't know the name of, but anything by Junji Ito, I'm there for. Obviously, I do want to continue Demon Slayer and all those Shonen Jump titles. I actually want to finally catch up to One Piece because with the manga, I've only read up to Skypiea. I know what happens up to the Water 7 Enies Lobby in the anime. So I want to do that. I want to finally catch up with One Piece. I basically stopped and just forgot to continue. There's also what was the other title that I wanted to get into? Shoot, it was one of those classic ones that was posted on the farm group. I can't remember right now, but yeah, trying to go back and read some of those classics, like One Piece, for example.
I'm feeling the same way, and I've built up a really nice backlog after making my way through a lot of mine. So I'm wanting to get to some of those books, some series that I've collected, and I really want to get onto. I collected Fire Force recently. So I'd like to get that because I know a lot of people were really raving about the anime when it was airing. I have like all of Blade of the Immortal, all of Vagabond. So those are ready for me to get into. God, there was another one that I was just thinking about.
What's the one that you like from Inoue that's continuing next year?
Real.
Yeah. That's getting
Real.
New chapters.
Yes, so that's going to be exciting. And one thing that I've really been I just got Witch Hat. That one, it's only 4 volumes right now, so I'm really excited because that's going to be easy to catch up with. I've heard so much good about it. So those are some of the things I'm excited to, I guess, catch up on my reading list. In addition to those, I'm really trying to branch out more and get more smaller publisher books, and more just like going out of my, I guess, my comfort zone with stuff and not just relying on Viz and Dark Horse to kind of show me the way on stuff. I'm trying to pay attention to some of these more lesser known things that people are sharing, especially in the farm, and follow different creators with their output as well. So I already have like some things that I wouldn't have picked up before. Like I got that Po Clan book. I have Kaiji Gambling Apocalypse coming in. That's going to be my first Denpa book. I got what is it called? The Walking Man, I believe is what it's titled. I have that. I have that coming in. So that's something that I might not have checked out before, but I'm really wanting to broaden my horizons. I've spent my years, the past, almost 2 decades that I've been into anime and manga, focusing mostly on shonen. I started going towards seinen, and now I'm trying to go away from obviously I'm still going to enjoy what I enjoy, but I'm trying to go not just to the mainstream and the stuff that I would already fall into, but go towards the things that I wouldn't have picked up. So that's the big thing that I've been starting in 2020 or 2019, and then I'm going to continue doing more in 2020.
Nice. There are some comments that I wanted to highlight before we continue. First off, man, you lucky bastard. I envy you because you got that Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer for $20. That's awesome. I don't know. Maybe I'll just try and save up and look around stores, I guess, to see if somebody's selling it at retail.
I bet you. I bet you'll find it at a store or something.
Hopefully. Gabe, every manga I've read has been my favorite: Berserk, One Piece, and Akira. I've never read Akira, but it looks fantastic. I did not get the big ass box set that everybody got, and but eventually I do want to check that out as well. I've only seen the movie. I've never read the manga.
You got to read it, man, because I know you've probably heard a million people tell you the same thing, but it goes a lot further into the story, and I think that you'll wind up really appreciating it for expanding on what you already know, and of course, beautifully illustrated. I know that there's a lot of people who look back at the anime and they're like, I hate the movie. But the movie is such a piece of work in its own right. And I think that just the excellent art direction and the soundtrack is just incredible. That makes the movie worth it and worth having as a separate entity. But definitely read it. Definitely read it.
This was when you were talking about Pluto. Gabe has volume 1 and hasn't gone around to it yet. You better get on it, Gabe, because that book is amazing. I love Pluto. It didn't make my list because I have already read it, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think Gabe will enjoy it, and he's gonna kick himself if he doesn't have the rest of the series. So,
shout out to David for getting here 30 minutes late, but the important thing is he got here. That's what matters. Don't worry about it. This is unrelated, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Jake got a PS4 on Black Friday. After I beat God of War, should I play Nier first or Persona 5? I said in the comments Persona. What do you think?
I haven't played either of those, but I've had people recommend Nier to me a lot more.
Was it Nelson? Nelson's a big fan of Nier, right?
Well, I think that's true, but no, it was actually a friend of mine that I worked with a few months ago. He was like really imploring for me to buy it, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have any ability to play it because we only had the one TV at the time, and it's a game that my wife would definitely not be interested in playing with me. So I was like, once we get a second TV and I can go upstairs with the PlayStation, then I can probably play it. But until then, I was getting Switch games because that, while she's enjoying the PS4 or watching TV, I can play the Switch on my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the beauty of that system.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite manga I've read is All You Need Is Kill. That was a great read. I haven't checked that out.
One.
It's
good.
That's the time loop stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. It's based on the novel, the Japanese novel that Tom Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow was based on.
I've seen that movie, but I haven't read the manga. So
if you enjoy the movie, the manga is similar, but it's different enough in its own ways that it's enjoyable on its own. And it has artwork by Takeshi Obata from Death Note.
Mm-hmm. So have we covered that Grand Blue Dreaming is manga of the year? I haven't read it, so I can't share your opinion, but Ryley has read it, right?
Did I read that this year? Or did I read that last year? I don't even remember.
I know I think at the beginning of the year, we were the admins. We were on a Grand Blue Dreaming craze, especially Nelson and Adonis.
Yeah, because they're basically like the two. We've been comparing them as the two main guys in that series.
Oh, man.
Or they compare themselves to the two guys.
Have you checked Jujutsu Kaisen? It looks pretty crazy. I want to check it out.
I have the first volume sitting on the floor in my bedroom. I haven't read it yet. I know it just officially came out this week. I got it from my early Right Stuff order last week. Mm-hmm. It does look really, really cool. I don't know anything about it, which is kind of how I like to do my stuff. I typically blind buy every Shonen Jump release, and I've only been burnt less than a handful of times. So I'm pretty confident I'll enjoy it. But I'll report back. Yes, sir.
Hayden, there's a new Pokemon movie. I am out of the loop. What's happening?
Is he talking about Detective Pikachu?
I don't know, because I liked Detective Pikachu a whole lot.
I did too, and I didn't pick it up for Black Friday, but I was going to grab a copy.
I love that even though technically we did see him. We did get cameos of Totodile in that movie, so that bumps it up as one of my favorite movies of the year, just because of that scene at the beginning of the movie. There's a flashback, and you see 3 Totodiles. I was so happy. I did not know that they were going to show up. That was one of my favorite movie moments of the year.
I would argue that that's probably the best video game adaptation film.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the bar is so low. But I liked it. It was genuinely fun and funny at the same time. I thought it was a really cool chapter in the Pokemon history franchise. Thank you, Travis. Let me know. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. He's talking about Biscuit Hammer. I'm catching up to the comment section, guys. Sorry. Here, the manga is like the Lord of the Rings novels compared to the original animated Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, but that old animation was really cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The animated movie was pretty cool. No. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, that's great. Candace, thank you for tuning in. That's awesome. First-time viewer, took advantage of Hulu's Black Friday $1.99 deal and hope you can give me a few recommendations for anime viewing. Thanks ahead of time.
I know there's a lot of Gundam on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iron Blooded Orphans. Is that one on Hulu or Netflix?
It's on. I think it's on Hulu and Crunchyroll.
Okay. I haven't watched that, but I know a lot of people really like that one. Hulu has a couple of the popular series that not simulcast, but like they'll come out the day after release. Like I think they have Demon Slayer, My Hero, One Punch Man is on there. So Hulu is really good about having a lot of the more popular current releases on there. What else is good as far as older stuff, though?
Hulu has a partnership with Funimation. So a lot of the titles that you see that are co-licensed by Funimation, you will see them, or at least the big releases, on the platform. Black Clover comes to mind. They even do partnerships with Viz, so you see stuff like the Naruto and Bleach franchises, Sailor Moon.
I know Boruto is on there.
Boruto's in there, yeah. Attack on Titan. I think they have Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, or that might be Crunchyroll, one of the two. Of the new stuff that's coming out, Kemono Michi, I'm a huge fan of that series. It's hilarious. It's stupid funny, but I really like it. Overcautious Hero is a lot of people like it, and it's trending. It's like one of the most liked shows of the 2019 fall season. It's fine. I like it, but I don't consider it the best thing that's out right now. But I love the art style so much. The main reason I come back to it is the drawings. I really like how the characters look, especially Rista, the goddess character. Also, the Sherlock anime adaptation. I thought it was going to be something else, but it's fine. It's fun, I guess. The Gundam stuff, I do have the Gundam Seed HD remasters, which look really good compared to the original. I like it. It's fun. Let's see what else is happening. Oh, somebody said, yeah. Oh, there we go, Nelson. IBO is on Netflix now. Cool.
I got my chicken and dumplings.
Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna speed run through this so you can enjoy that meal, son. With HBO Max partnering with Crunchyroll, do you think more anime fans will get exposed to DC characters and vice versa? With the partnership, will there be more fans of both types of media? I hope so. I always hope that the two sides can get along and find a middle ground and enjoy each other's side of the fandom. So yeah, I want them to coexist happily.
The main thing is just providing something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Accessible for people. Because for manga fans, manga readers are usually very adept and okay with like pirating, I should say, reading scans. Yeah. And anime, especially now, is so accessible because it's available through so many streaming services. So if you're looking to try and have something that's going to be drawn, people who are on that side already, to get drawn over to the Western comic side, the mainstream Western comic side, you have to cover that accessibility. You have to give them something that is, if you have films and shows that are streamable, then that's accessible. If you have content that is like the comic content being available for a really low price, because obviously we don't want for pirating to be the answer for everyone, then that is what would help. And I know that DC and Marvel have their own apps, and like Comixology has their own stuff that allows you to read a bunch of stuff online. And then you also have like the Hoopla app that makes it easier. That's how you're really going to get, sorry, I'm going to step for a second over here. That's how you're really going to get a lot of manga readers and anime watchers to start getting into the DC or Marvel characters. That's the way that they need to be approaching it, and that's why I think digital is going to be huge for gaining new readers for mainstream comics. The only thing that they have to fix is the fact that, and this is the big reason why I still prefer physical, is they need to fix the price point of digital comics. It doesn't make sense for a digital issue to also be $4 when a physical issue is $4. The physical issue, you already get the issue plus usually a digital copy for that $4. Right. And then you have the ability to resell that item. It's the same thing for digital video games. You have the ability to resell that game once you're done with it, that item, that issue, when you're done with it. If you don't want it any longer, you can resell it. So if they brought down the price point to a more manageable price, maybe just $2 or optimally $1, maybe after the first few weeks of release, bring it down even more, you would have a lot more accessibility, and a lot of people who are not into that stuff before will start buying it.
Yeah. I agree. Yep, I totally agree. I mean, it's ridiculous. I recently was on Comixology to put out an example, and it's the same price of a physical book, a trade. It's the same price on the app. I'm like, that's insane. Why? I want a discount. I'm not. There's no paper involved. I'm reading it digitally.
There's no printing. They're not paying the cost for printing, for distribution, for storefront costs from the comic shop. All of these things are not there. And I think if I was to guess from a business perspective, the reason why they wouldn't bring the cost down is because they're trying to make up for the fact that the physical editions are not selling what they want them to. Yeah. So they have to kind of have that same price point on the digital ones to make up for that cost. That would be my best guess.
Good point. Hayden, the CG remake. I forgot about that. That's how much enthusiasm I have for that film. Yay. Yeah, it looks. I don't like that art style at all. I'm not a fan of CG anime thing. They've been experimenting with that format for a few years, and more we're starting to see titles being put out, or series or movies. I'm not a fan. I'd love traditional anime, and I'd love traditional Western animation and all that stuff. But I get it. You want to digitize everything, and current anime is digital, and to an extent. But the full CG stuff, like that Pokemon movie, Beastars was the exception. Even though the art is totally different from the manga, I like it. I like how it looks because it's animals. It looks different from people. So that's my 2 cents on that. My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer are both on Hulu. Hellsing Ultimate. I didn't know Hellsing Ultimate was on Hulu. That's awesome. Speaking of Hellsing,
that daily deal on Right Stuff.
Yeah. If you go to Right Stuff, you got a couple hours, and you can pick up the whole OVA series for $30. It's a steal.
It's so good.
That's one of the things I was going to mention earlier about anticipated books for next year. Those hardcovers. That's awesome.
Yes. And I'm anticipating seeing if Dark Horse also plans to publish other books in that format. Now that we have both Berserk and Hellsing, will they do more?
Oh man, I want. I know a lot of people want that Lone Wolf and Cub. We got that fake image on the social media stuff, which was hilarious because I thought it was real. But yeah, you could do so much. Gantz is another popular series. If you could do that in hardcover, a lot of people would pick it up as well. No Guns Life on Hulu. That's true. That's another new one that's airing right now. I started liking it, and then I got a little bit bored by it, and I need to watch like the last 4 episodes. I'm behind a month. But it's a fun series. I like it. FMA Brotherhood is on Hulu. Yes. Is Crunchyroll worth it? Yes, because every single year they add more and more titles, and it's just a straight up like the best, to me at least, the best streaming platform for anime viewing. And you get to keep up with the new stuff that's coming out, which is what I do. I watch a lot of new releases, and then I sprinkle throughout my viewing older shows. And they do a good job of adding stuff for everybody. I'd like to think. You know, there's something for everybody on that platform. Sherlock anime. It's called, the name's pretty weird. It's Kabuchiko. I'm butchering that name. Case file number 221, something like that. It's more of a case of the week, but it's, you know, Sherlock is a Japanese character in that anime, and they're in Shinjuku, and each episode they solve different cases. Watson, of course, is like the main focus because he joins the team of investigators. There's sort of like this detective club in the outskirts of Shinjuku, and it's crazy. It's a really different, eccentric take on the Sherlock Holmes mythos. But I dig it. It's not that bad.
Or maybe watch Case Closed.
Case Closed is a lot better, though. That I agree.
Detective Conan by any other name.
Mm-hmm. Yep, your doggo agreed as well.
Yeah, she. Not that she could hear me or anything, but I think she got upset because I called it Case Closed instead of Detective Conan. I know I corrected myself.
Do you know about the books N-Man is talking about? Maid Sama and High School Debut?
I think I've seen Maid before, but it does not look like the type of thing that I would pick up. And then High School Debut, I'm not sure about.
Yeah. Wait, I'm missing a comment here. Speaking of CG movies, have you seen the clip of the new Lupin movie that does an homage to the... That animation is perfect. It's stylized and it looks right. It pays homage to the series, to the history of the characters. I love it. I think it's fantastic, and I cannot wait for that CG Lupin or Lupin, however you want to say it. Man, I'm really behind in comments. Jesus. I think that eventually they'll bring the price down and singles will become digital only and physical will become reserved for trades, omnis, etc. Who knows? Hopefully. This last decade in anime, we got some of the greatest shows. Steins Gate. What can anime do new that it hasn't done in the past decade or even 5 decades? This past decade for anime has been really awesome. There have been some really cool stuff that's come out. I'm still trying to catch up. I haven't, because I stopped watching anime, I think like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and now I'm catching up to a lot of famous shows. This year, I know we were talking about manga earlier, but this year I started watching Hunter x Hunter. which easily became one of my favorite things of all time. I love it so much. I didn't put it in my manga reads because I only have the Dark Continent stuff on manga. And eventually I do want to collect the entire series in manga, but I do have the Blu-rays. It's awesome. I love Hunter x Hunter dearly. I also finally started JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I do have the Shonen Jump app on my phone, so I did start reading the manga, but when I got the Blu-rays, I just went ahead and watched the anime. But I do want to read the manga as well eventually. That was also a good series to get started on. Ryley, you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions if you haven't. It's a canon continuation epilogue of the manga.
I've been wanting to. I haven't watched it. I've been wanting to. I'd seen it. I don't want to say advertised, but I've seen it mentioned. And so I've been curious about it. The only thing outside of the main series that I read was one of the spin-off titles, Yu-Gi-Oh! R, which is meant to take place between, I think, Battle City and Millennium World. That's the only extra thing that I've taken in.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to get out of here, finish up eating dinner, clean up.
Yep. We're at the hour mark. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you so much to the chat. And real quick before we go, because we are wrapping up, I did want to, just pass along a little gift, nothing too biggie. I did get some items over at Right Stuff, so they gave everybody this little coupon code for holiday sales, and I'm not going to use it. I've already purchased way too much stuff for the holidays, so I wanted to quickly highlight myself right there. Let's see. Yeah, got a gift for you. Visit Right Stuff and enter your promo code to see your gift. I don't actually know what the percentage discount on this is. It could be 5%, could be 10, I don't know. But still, just a little thank you to everybody, a small little thank you for tuning in and supporting not only Omnibroslive and Fangirlz Assemble, but Otaku Bros as well. We are really trying to make something really cool here with the manga show twice a month. And just a little thank you on my behalf. Hopefully you can use this code and get some cool items at discount. So yeah, go ahead. I don't know if there's a limit to this. I don't know if it's one per person. I hope not, so a lot of people can use it, but there it is. I've talked long enough, so I think everybody, if you're watching this on replay and it still works, go ahead and pause and type that code in. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our streams. We will be back. Not you. We will be back on the last Thursday of the month, and we're going to be talking about January 2020 solicits, all the crazy manga that are going to be coming out. And we look forward to having all of you watching join us on that stream. And hopefully we'll get more guest co-host with us to talk about all that stuff. So with that said, thank you everybody in the chat. Is it a gift or a discount code? It's a discount code, and man, it's like 5 or 10% discount on non-promotional items over at Bright Stuff. So you can go ahead and do that. Also, before we finally wrap up, remember to visit our sponsor website, instocktrades.com, where you can get all the manga that we talked about. You can get it there. You can do orders, collected editions, manga. You can get that up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% if you buy week to week. And if you order $50 or more on that order, you get free shipping. Amazing customer service, fantastic packaging that you can only get when you visit our sponsor, instocktrades.com. With that said, Ryley, where can they find you? Thank you once again for tuning in and joining me on this stream.
You find me right here on pretty much every Thursday, sometimes on Mondays. Like we have some book reviews coming up on Monday.
Yeah.
And you can find me on my channel on YouTube,
Ryleymo, Ryleymo. I need to upload that unboxing video pretty soon here, so you guys can check out the haul from Right Stuff's crazy sales. And on Instagram, RYLEYM0. And then, of course, on the Facebook group, the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. And on also Otaku's Farm on Facebook, which is our manga and anime spin-off group from the main group.
Heck yeah, dude. That is awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find me on my channel, and we can keep them talking about anime, comics, manga, etc., etc. So yeah, subscribe, hit the like, notification bell, all that jargon that all the famous YouTubers like to say. Then yeah, go ahead and apply it to us as well. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will catch you on our next stream, wherever that may be. So thank you everybody.